there is some breaking news that the U.S. is set to demand that Putin of Russia accepts that Ukraine has a right to continue its military force. Now, we go out to our Balance of Power co-host, Kailey Leinz, who can bring us some of the details here. There is an important meeting about to occur in Moscow, and this is the line when it comes to what Russia must accept in any sort of ceasefire.
Yeah, Bloomberg, according to sources familiar with the matter, Caroline, is really providing some light as to what exactly, in terms of concessions, the U.S. wants to ask of Russia after much reporting over all of the concessions that have been asked of Ukraine. And that does include a demand that Russia essentially accept that Ukraine will have its own military force and defense industry as part of any deal. And our understanding is this is going to be presented as an issue when Steve Witkoff, the U.S. Special Envoy, meets with Vladimir Putin next in Moscow, which is expected to happen tomorrow. And an additional demand here as well, according to our reporting, is that Russia returns control of the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant in Ukraine, and that the U.S. in theory would take over the operations of that. Now, it's not clear whether or not these are concessions that Vladimir Putin will be willing to accept, as at least when it comes to the Ukrainian defense industry, that would mean Putin does not achieve one of his stated war aims. When he invaded Ukraine, he said part of the objective was to achieve the demilitarization of Ukraine. Now, of course, there are other objectives that, based on our reporting on the deal that had been presented to Ukraine from the U.S., that would mean Vladimir Putin would achieve, including a commitment that Ukraine would never be able to join NATO, as well as recognition of Crimea, which Russia illegally annexed in 2014 as Russian. That is something that Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has said he could not accept in any deal because it would violate the Ukrainian constitution. And of course, President Trump was upset with that statement. He said that it is a deterrent or an impediment, if you will, to achieving peace, though he also has expressed ire with Vladimir Putin today in the aftermath of deadly strikes in Kyiv overnight, which killed at least a dozen people and wounded dozens more. He says that Vladimir Putin must stop. He says that the timing is very bad. It was not necessary. He says he is not happy with the Russian strikes on Kyiv, and it'll remain to be seen if Russia is happy with this architecture of a deal that, again, based on our reporting, the U.S. is preparing to present.